The Lunaverse by Rainbow Double Dash, presenting episode 6, A Bushful of Carrots, by Grey Guard Pony. Chapter 1, Carrots Conundrum. The cool fall morning air tussled Carrot Top's mane as he yanked another carrot from the dirt. The familiar dull ache from a full day of hard farm work was already setting in, as he still had another field to harvest. But such was the nature of farm work, and Carrot Top was used to it by now, though the new irrigation system from last year's contest did help reduce the load. Cough echoed through the front line. Twisting to face the sound, Carrot Top found herself staring down both Applejack and her little sister Applebloom. "Applejack!" She blinked, tilting her head slightly. "What brings you around?" The face of Sweet Apple Acres opened her mouth, then closed it again, frowning. Carrot Top blinked again as Applejack repeated the process, obviously struggling to get something off her chest. Applebloom rolled her eyes, poking her sister in the side. "Come on, please, just ask her already." "I just want to ask for your help," Applejack sighed, almost tripping over her words as he rushed to get them out. "Excuse me," Carrot Top asked, her confusion growing. "Look," Applejack elaborated, fixing her hat. "Every fall, Blake, Mike, and I set up a line of timberwool traps along the edge of Everfree. It helps keep the critters from running too close to Ponyville." Carrot Top nodded. It made sense. No pony wanted timberwolves wandering into town, though Applejack's efforts at combating the wooden menaces was news to her. "This involves me because, well, Blake Mike got hurt himself, and now I'm a pony down." Seeing almost doffing her hat. "Look, I know I've not exactly made myself a friend, but you're a strong worker. You've been in Everfree before. I could use your help." "Are you sure? No offense, Applejack, but you see in these situations, you'll step it down and look at yourself." "Yeah, but this time my wise pony convinced me to try a different approach." She punctuated that statement with a sisterly tuffle of Applebloom's mane. Younger pony beaming. "So, how about it? Can I tell you?" Carrot Top mulled the proposition over, rubbing her chin. The request was simple enough, and keeping temporary pulls away from Ponyville was a noble goal. "All right, when do you need me?" "Tomorrow morning will be great, bright and early." "I'll be there." Carrot Top nodded. Watching the few members of the Apple clan wander back towards their farm, a smile crossed her muzzle. A Ponyville without the conflicts between the Apple Trust and Farmers Union? A pony can help. That happy thought still dancing to her head, Carrot Top returned to her harvest. My little pony, ah, my little pony. Friendship never meant that much to me, my little pony. But you're out here now, I can see. Stormy weather, monsters show, a musical bond with loving care. Teaching laughter, it's an easy feat, and magic makes it all complete. You have my little ponies. How did I ever make so many true friends? You're watching the Lunaverse, only on the Hub. While the Prime Verse goes through G5, we're still stuck here in G4 land. Presented by VCs and by Frosty Root Beer. We're not IVC, but we're a close second. It was past noonday break. Carrot Top was working her usual market stall, impulsively rearranging her carrots, trying to look as attractive as possible. "Carrot Top!" Carrot Top paused in her work. Green Grape was rusting at her, frazzled expression on the mare's face. Grape Farmer was usually unflappable, so she could only imagine what had her so worked up. "Calm down, Green," she comforted, holding up a hoof. "What's wrong? A rock ruffus!" Carrot Top winced. When it came to wrecking a farm, only parasites could cause more damage than rock gophers. The magical critters like to dig wide and extensive tunnels beneath the farms. Some of the worst-case stories she had heard include whole farmhouses being dropped a few feet into the ground. "Hobod. Well, we managed to round them up and get them out of the area. Now it's just a matter of fixing the southern field. You know, filling the tunnels, putting little trellises back up, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to get as many spare hosts together as I can for tomorrow. Can I count on you?" Well," she said, biting her lip. "I'd like to, but Applejack asked me to help him with a timberwool trap tomorrow morning." "Oh," Green Grape blinked. "I forgot she did that. Don't know why, though. I don't think Ponyville has ever had a timberwolf attack on record. Well, I can't entirely blame her for wanting to be careful. So you'll tell her you can't help, right? I mean, she's got the trust backing her up. I'm a fellow farm union member. Well, Kirtan faltered. But I did promise it already. I can't just go back on my word. Greengrave's jaws opened slightly before saying his scowl. Really? After all she's done against you, you picked to help her over me? She's been trying to be better, Kirtan winced, nervously shuffling her hooves. Sir, it's still kind of a work in progress, but I can't just snub an honest effort to be less aloof. When the scowl didn't drop from Greengrave's face, she nervously elaborated, Look, Grapes, I can't break my promise to Applejack, but I will try to finish quickly, and then rush over to you as quickly as I can. Greengrave sighed, obviously, still disappointed, but still not at all the same. Alright, Carrot Top, I can't ask you to break your word. Hopefully there'll still be work to do by the time you show up. Watching Greengrave leave, Carrot Top sighed. He hated having to decide between helping two ponies who both had legitimate issues. But Applejack asked her first, resolving work all the harder tomorrow morning. She returned to worrying about her own produce. The next hour turned by a rapid pace. Carrot Top's falling into a natural rhythm and pattern of selling the pile of carrots slowly, while her collection of bits grew. Carrot Top! I'm popular today, she smirked towards the voice. The smile turned to a furrowed brow and a raised eyebrow at the sight of her friend Trixie. The unicorn seemed to be in the process of making another of her unique culinary creations. A slice of watermelon floated along, buoyed by her shimmering magic ore and slathered with peanut butter. A coating of some kind of red powder was dusted over the peanut butter along with chives. You know, Trixie, if you ever get pregnant, I have this strange feeling you're going to ask for normal food. Trixie strode right up to the stall, tossed the bit into the box, and slid Carrot on top of the whole concoction and took a full bite. So, Starlight, how do you manage your mare friend's food taste? I don't. I just look on in horror. Trixie, Carrot Top came to the contented expression on Trixie's face as she chewed. Your taste buds need to be examined by the time of doctors or mages above. Swallowing, Trixie scoffed. I can't help it. If you Ponyvillians can't understand my sophisticated New palate. There was a momentary pause before both broke into a round of laughter. I still don't understand how you like half of these combinations. Trixie sighed. So, how's today finding you? All right for the most part. I'm finding myself in the middle of a slight tug-of-war between two farmers. Tilting her head slightly, Trixie motioned for her friend to continue, taking another bite of her concoction. Applejack asked me to help set her up against some sort of timberwood traps along the Everfree edge tomorrow. Seemed like a perfectly reasonable request. Then, once I'm here, Greengrape asked me for some help fixing her farm. Also tomorrow. She absently-minded shuffled a few of her carrots around as she continued. I feel bad for kind of telling Grape I'll get to her when I can, but Applejack did ask first. The mundane problems of life, Trixie died. You know, sometimes I wonder if Luna ever had to deal with these problems so normal in her life. Remember that Trixie pulled during the longest night celebration? Well, she literally was 3 different ponies. Yeah, but I suppose that's why she's the princess in one of the subjects. Well, for what it's worth, I'm glad you're helping Applejack. Really? Of course. I don't want Timberwolves sneaking into my house. She winked, and I'm sure Grape would agree. You're probably right, Carrot Top smiled. Thanks, Trixie. That night, after most ponies had gone to sleep, Carrot Top found herself curled up on her bed, contemplating her situation. Having to choose between her friends in the Union and Applejack, she still didn't like it. Ugh, I need an extra pair of hooves. Or a twin. Trixie's example from earlier in the day came to mind. It'd be very convenient if she could do that trick of Luna's. Even as that thought left her head, a memory stirred in the corner of her mind. A legend that her grandmother told her during Heartwarming Eve one year. With a sudden surge of energy, she threw the covers off her bed and rushed across the room. An old truck rested against the window, inherited from Carrot Top's grandmother. A soft smile crossed her muzzle at the thought of her grandma, roaming through the thoughts of the depths of Everfree, trying to collect old bits of pony lore. Grandma Sprout was something else, she chuckled, lifting the lid up and beginning to rummage. It took her only a few moments to find what she was looking for. A full old hoof-wooden leather journal, with Carrot Sprout's cutie mark engraved on the cover. Carefully opening it, she flipped through the pages, looking for the legend that was stuck in the back of her mind. Aha! She beamed, stopping at a drawing of a pool, complete with a series of notes and a map drawn on the facing page. The mirror pool is the strangest thing I've found during my early years of poking around the Everfree forest. Hidden in one of the deepest bramble thickets of forest, at the bottom of a short ravine, I discovered I can make magical duplicates. Carrot Top grinned. Carrot Top was no longer grinning. Part was because she had the handle of a lantern clenched in her teeth. The rest of it was where she was. Despite the fact she had been in Everfree many times before, gathering herbal ingredients, she was having a very hard time keeping her knees from knocking as she moved through the night-shrouded forest. For some reason, the Everfree was feeling particularly foreboding tonight. The darkness made every shadow seem longer, every scrape of a branch or snap of a twig the result of a monster creeping closer. Every howl of the wind and timberwolf right just around the bend. But still, she pressed on. Pausing at a large tree, she gently put the lantern down and dug the map out of her saddlebags. Let's see, also, Iowa tree. Looks like I cut to the east from here. Followed an old stream bed. Mournful howl cut through the night, sending a chill down Carrot Top's spine as she snapped her head up. Scanning the trees around her, she tried to ignore the way her heart was hammering in her chest. The thought of Timberwolves once again at the forefront of her mind. When no creature stepped into view, she quickly grabbed the lantern and rushed for the stream bed. Her hose crunched against the loose gravel of the former stream, the only sound reaching her ears. After what felt like a few minutes of straight running, the edge of Carrot Top's lantern light crossed a massive wall of brambles and black thorns. Snarled, twisted plants looked completely blocked at the end of the gully, but through the gaps and branches she could make out a hole in the ground. Crouching low, Carrot Top instantly along the ground, slipping between the limbs and stepping into the hole in the ground. When her hose found her stairs, however, she blinked. Stairs? Somebody made this. Driven on by a sense of curiosity as well, she quickly tried down the steps, taking them two at a time. As she traveled deeper, a soft blue light began to reach her eyes. The light didn't so much glow brighter as she reached the bottom of the stairs, as there seemed to be more of it. She didn't know how to explain it really, but she made a mental note to ask Trixie about it later. The room, and there was no other way to describe it, as the walls were stone, was a large rectangle. 4 columns of stone supporting the ceiling, and set in the middle of it all was another small rectangular pool of glowing blue water, complete with a short flight of steps leading into its cool depths. Ancient writing covered most of the pillars, but great details seemed faded and chipped from edge. Gently putting the lantern down, Carrot Top double-checked her grandmother's notes. On an instant reflection, she stabbed. She spoke clearly, taking a step to the edge of the pool, looking at her own reflection. Looked nervous. Yearning for one whose reflection she said, and solemnly swore not to be scared at the prospect of being doubly mad. The water glowed brighter for a moment. Assuming it worked, Carrot pushed into the pool. The world twisted. One moment, she had been stepping into the mirror pool. Next, she was stepping right back out. Blinking, she glanced to the right and found herself snap to snap with herself. I was smiling like she had been given a billion-bit prize. Hi? Hi! Her twin grinned. Need help? Then I don't. But we're going to help a bunch of ponies together, okay? Yeah! Good. Now just follow me back to Ponyville. Carrot Top awoke the next morning with a dull ache in her back. Rolling off the couch with a slight groan, she stretched, feeling the tension pop down her spine. Was it proper social etiquette to let a magical clone have the bed? Something to ask Trixie at any rate. Wait, what's that smell? Stepping into the kitchen, Carrot Top's jaw dropped at what greeted her. A double take had been cooking, and a giant breakfast banquet spread greeted her. 2 kinds of juice, sacks of pancakes, and waffles. 3 different kinds of breakfast salads, a few vegetarian omelets. A quick glance at the kitchen cabinets revealed that they were indeed bare. Her duplicate was beaming as she stood between the towering mountain of mess spread across the stove, sink, and counters, and impressively prepared breakfast that took up all the dining table. I helped! Thought you did, Carrot Top blinked. You kind of overdid it, though. Yes, there's more food than even both of us could eat. A deep frown crossed her twin's muzzle. Tears began to well up in her eyes. But it's okay, Carrot Top quickly assured. We can make this work. Get the picnic baskets out of the closet. The smile returned to the double's face. I hope she shows up on time, Applejack muttered, counting its supplies for cramp blinds for the 10th time. See you later, please, Applebloom chirped from her own seat. Large map of Ponyville, its immediate surroundings spread out before her. Yes, my patient. Applejack opened her mouth to respond. A positive blob of orange and yellow came over the horizon. Basket bounced on her back. Carrot Top beamed as she approached. Hi, I'm here to help, and I brought breakfast. Dropping the basket between the two bodies, she yanked a handkerchief away, feeling the dishes of goodies contained within. Applejack blinked, mouth watering and slightly into sense. She and Applebloom hadn't had breakfast yet. They had to grab a quick bite of hay once they put in a few hours of work. But on the other half, well, this is right neighborly, Chester Carrot Top. I suppose we can have a quick bath before we get to things. What are you, Slush? Applebloom said through a mouth of carrot cucumber salad. Applebloom! Carrot Top quickly trotted through the decorative stone arch that made the entrance to Green Grape's vineyard. The farm was situated on a small hill south of Ponyville. Fields of grapevines arranged in a circle around the main house. So you could already see that the area where the damage was done. The rows on the south side of the hill were indeed toppled. Red Onion was the only other member of the Farmers Union on the side, dragging the fallen post away. Drawing closer, the damage looked even worse. Large holes and furrows were torn open in the ground. New piles of dirt to fill it in them had already been brought up. Green Grape! She called to her friend. Up here, and I brought breakfast. Green Grape looked up from where she was pulling new posts in position, smiling to say of her friend. Finished up with Applejack already? Actually, I found some pudding to cover for me, Carrot Top explained, placing the basket of food on a nearby crate. So, what are the milk us? I asked Rainbow to ask to run over to Fluttershy. Animals are not really my area of expertise. Carrot Top nodded, unable to find a flaw in her logic. And then let's get your farm repaired. Now that's what I like to hear. So, Timberwolves are opportunistic little buggers, Applejack elaborated, dragging a pair of logs connected by a hinge to the forward's heads. They held in pikes, but are kind of cowards. So a bit of strength and you back down. That's why we'll trap. Maybe Ponyville will be too much trouble to bother. She glanced over at Carrot Top and nodded. That wide, almost goofy smile hadn't left her muzzled since he arrived. Alright, then, let's leave this hole. We'll partially bury this big log trap for any of those critters who came along. Okay! Carrot Top grinned, eagerly throwing herself into the task. Once the pit was dug, Applejack pulled the two logs into place, ran along a string from each end to hinge in the middle. Now, we'll have some loose branches, she explained, and if one of those timber wolves stumbles through it, until the logs smash together and break it up. Not waiting for a response, she looked back to her little sister. An Applebloom marks the location on the map, so we can let all the ponies in town know where not to go, so that we can take them down come spring. She looked at Carrot Top. Understand? A wide smile and nod was her response. Alright, Land, let's get to those others. The sun was beginning to dip back over the horizon as the work on Green Grape's farm came to a close. Carrot Top's mane and coat were soaked in sweat and smeared with dirt. As were her fellow workers. But it had been worth it. The collapsed rows of posts were once again standing tall, the holes full. All that was left was to replant the vines. And then the conversation started. Well, glad this is done, Red Onion nodded. Though my own harvest is a little behind now. His eyes turned to Carrot Top, a grin caressing his muzzle. Hey, Carrot Top, any chance I could borrow your hose tomorrow? Hey, Carrot Top piped up. I wanted her to help replant my vines tomorrow. When? Carrot Top nervously laughed, rubbing the back of her head. I guess I could see what I could do. Carrot Top frowned slightly as she trotted back to her farmhouse. More ponies to help. Still, with her and her doubles, she should be able to handle Green Grape and Red Onion's requests. At least she thought that was the case. What she found, however, was their doubles, sobbing in the middle of the living room. What's wrong? She knelt down, pressing a lock of her manes of her double's eyes. Well, she sniffled. I was getting back from helping Applejack, and then Trixie asked me to help plant some flowers around the house, and I said yes. And then Charity asked me to help with a nature hike for the foes, and then Pokey wanted to help with the falls, and I said yes to everybody, and now I got to help anybody. With another wheels, he rolled to the side, pounding a hoof against the floorboards. Aircop just gate. How was he going to get out of this? Forcing herself to ignore the cries of her duplicate, she mulled over her options. Okay, she smiled as the crying stopped. I have a plan! Uh-oh.